thing to do, and God's all prompting can be easily ignored. And I thank you, Lord, for the victory that growing brings in surrender of everything. Life is so worthwhile, and I thank you, Lord, that when everything put in place, out in front I can see your face, and it's there you belong. That it goes against the way I am to put my human nature down and let the Spirit take control of all I do. 'Cause when those trials come, my human nature shouts the thing to do, and God's prompting can be easily ignored. So give me strength to do thy holy will, my Lord.
Happy Sabbath to everyone, and good morning. Ray has mentioned that America is now mourning for what happened in Las Vegas. 58 people died. See? 58, 59. Around or more than 500 have been wounded because of this man. Everybody is now wondering what is the foundation of this man? What made him do it? What is the condition of the mind during the time that this happened? It's sad that it's happening in a country like America, who is in fact one of the examples in the world in terms of religion, in terms of democracy, in terms of equality of life that has been sought by a lot of people. It's really sad to see this happen in the United States. We also would like to thank Rio for the lesson this morning. We have focused on Isaiah as a whole, preaching and teaching the people of Israel. But how did they respond? Were they just listening to what he was saying, but not putting things to action, not doing things according to what they were instructed? It's sad to say a lot of them, maybe majority of them, were just listeners. And it can also be adopted to our time at this time. We have been teaching, we have been preaching, we have been saying things, we have been hearing doctrines, philosophies, but a lot of people are just listeners. They're not doers. They do not put things to action. So that's the major topic we have this morning, doers and listeners. I'd like you to turn your Bible. I hope this one is correct, Pastor. Huh? Matthew 7. Let's look at verse 21 to 22. As Pastor mentioned this morning also, not everyone will be saved, even though you're part of a movement or a remnant church. Let's look at this text. Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father, which is in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, this is the judgment now, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works. And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine, and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man which built his house upon a rock. Let's repeat that one. Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man which built his house upon a rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. And everyone that heareth these sayings of mine, and doeth them not, shall be likened unto a foolish man, which built his house upon the sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon that house. And what happened to it? It fell, and great was the fall. Let's analyze this one. Let's analyze this lesson and see. The house mentioned here represents each one of us, each of our lives. We build our own lives, just the same way as this guy who did the one in Las Vegas built his own life. The house represents our life. Each of us is building a life that will eventually face the vicissitudes of life. So each individual person is building his own life, a life that will respond to the many ups and downs that come our way. We are building these lives upon a foundation. And of course, if the foundation is strong, then our life becomes strong. If the foundation is weak, then our lives become weak. The foundation is whatever teaching, doctrines, philosophies on which we subscribe. It may be a philosophy or doctrine adopted from others, or it may be our own. Then the storms come. Storms are things threatening us. It may be the literal ones, like the floods that we had, like the rains that we had, which can destroy us, for which many things are taken away. And how do we respond to it? Will we be devastated after that, or will we be able to stand strong, willing to continue without despair? Storms can also be like illness, loss of loved ones, financial problems that we have, which may take away not only our spiritual side of things, but also our health, our family, and our possessions. Again, will we be emotionally devastated after such, or will we be able to be strong and willing to continue on without despair? Storms can also be in the final day. It can be from the death, and it can be during the judgment, as Jesus have said in the parable, which will be the truest test of our building. The Lord will describe the kind of builder for the servant to have been. It can be said, well done by the Lord, good and faithful servant. You, or on the other hand, you wicked and lazy servant. From the parable itself, the man who built his house on the sand heard of Christ's words, heard of the doctrines, heard things right and wrong, but they did not go down into his heart. They were not put to action. They did not result in action. But the one, in contrast, that had the foundation on the rock, equates this to the man who hears and practices what he hears, to a man who builds his house on the rock. Not only looks solid foundation, but it is very strong. Okay. Since we are also in the medical field, let's focus on the mind, not the brain itself, but the mind that we have. We have different levels, as the Freudian theory has stated, different levels. You have the conscious, subconscious, and the unconscious level of your mind. Imagine 3 layers recording everything that we absorb. For example, if the teaching of pastor is given to us this day, 3 layers would absorb it. The conscious, the one we see from the outside, the subconscious, the one in our memory, and the third level in our mind is, of course, the one we keep inside. That's the Freudian theory. For example, if you hear people around you cursing day and night, they curse day and night every day of your life. You have been hearing it. It's putting it in your conscious, subconscious, and unconscious level. Once you're faced with problems, you can blurt out the curse that you have been keeping in your mind without even knowing it, without being conscious about it. It means you can blurt out something and you could say to yourself, hey, where did that come from? For example, also, when we oftentimes see violence, maybe in the movies, maybe in things we see, or maybe in the songs we hear it constantly, being pumped in our conscious, subconscious, and unconscious mind. It's being pumped to us almost every day. In the radio, you could hear all this violence, or you could watch the television and you could see all this violence. Once you're faced with problems, trials, and temptations, as has been mentioned, since it is in your system, since it is in your conscious, subconscious, and conscious mind, there is a tendency later on that it will come out and you will solve problems and temptations violently because it's in your system. It's the power of the mind that you have in your system. On the other hand, if you hear the sermons of pastor in terms of guiding you to the right way, in terms of facing trials and temptation, once you're faced with trials and temptation, you're able to solve them the way that it has been stored in your conscious, subconscious, and unconscious mind. If you hear songs, for example, religious songs that you have been hearing or you have been singing. Once you're faced with trials and temptations, you sing those songs and you are in trying to solve the problems that you have. That's the power of the mind that you have. Let's look at it. As I mentioned, Sigmund Freud was the one who started about the issue of the conscious, subconscious, and the unconscious mind. This is part of psychology. The conscious mind is the one you see from the outside. You are able to communicate to the world with the conscious mind. Well, the subconscious mind, on the other hand, are your memories, or memories of bad things, memories of good things. And your unconscious mind is the storehouse. It's kept there inside, but it can blurt out once you're faced with problems, once you're faced with temptation. That's the power of the human mind. Whatever you hold in your mind will tend to occur in your life. For example, I feel sick today. For example, let's look at it from another perspective. Go to a friend one day and say to your friend, "You look sick today." And then the friend will say, and look at himself. It was stated in his mind. And then another person comes in. "You look sick today." Second, again, installed in your mind. And then another person will say, "You look sick today," the third day. And it's installed in your mind. Eventually, this person will get sick. Because it was dictated in your mind. It was put in your mind by the system. This is what you call the power of the mind. Conscious, subconscious, unconscious system in your mind. So you have to control this. Whatever you hold in your mind will tend to occur in your life. If you continue to believe as you have always believed, you will continue to act as you have always acted. If you continue to act as you have always acted, you will continue to get what you have always gotten. If you want different results in your life or your work, all you have to do is have a change of mind. The foolish builder heard of Jesus' words, but didn't act upon them. Every person, or each one of us, is building a life according to some scheme, some design. People don't build at random. Everyone has a world view or a philosophy on his own. Why did the foolish man build his house on the sand? He was very confident, overconfident. He miscalculated the weather. He thought every day was going to be sunshine. He thought his life was always going to be smooth. So he figured a sand dune would be as a strong foundation. He was thinking of things that are good at this time. He doesn't know that things will change once an enemy comes. They have made a study, this at least confirms what I have mentioned before, Virginia Tech Research Division. Students who were shown non-violent pictures and the others were shown violent pictures, super violent ones. Results indicated violent films can increase hostile behavior. So this is proven based on research in Virginia Tech Research Division. University of Alabama conducted a similar study and obtained similar results. The results indicated the aggressive behavior didn't occur after viewing, but in fact, it even remained with the students who were shown this one. Also in Macquarie University Children and Families Research Center, they found that children who watch violent movies are more likely to view the world as unsympathetic, malicious, and scary place, and that this stimulates aggression. It also suggests children are more likely to exhibit combative behavior. These are based on studies, while becoming desensitized to violence. Reportedly, the MRIs of their brain of the children who have viewed film of television violence has a similar look when compared to those who have violently acted once. Researchers therefore suggest that in their study, and also in their study about swearing, swearing develops in stages. It depends on the social surroundings that you have. It depends on your parents. It depends on what you hear. Children seem to know all of the same swear words as their same age peers. So if your friends swear, then you eventually swear. And as a child ages, his or her swear word vocabulary increases. The authors state that by the time the children start school, they know 30 to 40 swear words. It is the social environment, the parents' pattern of discipline, the child's habits, and the emotional circumstances that determine whether or not the child will unleash a curse word. Let's look at the foundation of the rock, the one who founded it on the rock. By using the word everyone in the parable, Jesus revealed that his words are intended for all people, for all time, even during our time. He begins by stating that you must hear his words. In order to do so, you must expose yourself to the truth. You can do this by reading the Word of God, by reading Spirit of Prophecy books, by attending worship, by getting involved in your Sabbath school classes or small groups, or by meeting with Christian friends who can teach you. If you want to learn a skill or profession, you must seek out the necessary information. So to have a good foundation, like a rock, you must be involved. You must take action. When the mind of man is brought into communion with the mind of God, the finite and the infinite, the effect on body and mind and soul is beyond estimate. In such communion is found the highest education. It is God's own method of development. Acquaint now thyself with him is his message to mankind. So when you communicate with God, and when man, the finite and the infinite meets, then there is a solid foundation. As you set out to rid your mind of years of impure thoughts and make it obedient to Christ, remember that merely trying to stop thinking bad thoughts won't work. That means if you're thinking bad thoughts, it won't work. You have to take action. You have to remove them in your system. You must fill your mind with the crystal clear Word of God. There is no alternative plan. We overcome the father of lies by choosing the truth. Philippians 4:8 states, finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. And to the Corinthians, the word, according to the grace of God which is given unto me, as a wise master builder, I have laid the foundation and another buildeth thereon, but let every man take heed how he buildeth thereupon. For other foundations can no man lay than that is laid, which is Jesus Christ. Now if any man build upon this foundation gold, silver, precious stones, wood, stable, every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire, and the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is. At this point in time, you can see the enemy now working so hard in trying to control people, in trying to destroy mankind. You can see it in our calamities that is happening. You can see it in the massacres that is happening. You can see it in the use of drugs. Satan is really working as hard as he can to destroy man. Near the close of this earth's history, Satan will work with all his powers in the same manner and with the same temptations wherewith he tempted ancient Israel just before their entering the land of promise. Those who have not brought the lower passions into subjection to the higher powers of their being, those who have allowed their minds to flow in a channel of carnal indulgence of the baser passion, Satan is determined to destroy with his temptation. So he's working hard. Satan, he knows it's the end game. He's working hard to destroy mankind. A stale mind is the devil's breadbox, as has been stated. An empty mind or a stale mind is an open door to the devil. The body manifests what the mind harbors. The key factors to withstand the storm, to withstand temptations, to be able to face the troubles that we have, as has been mentioned also in the song this morning, is Jesus. Being a hearer only is not sufficient. Such is foolishness, building on a shaky foundation that will not stand the best of storm. Like the unscrupulous contractor, the storm will reveal the true quality of one's character. Once you have built a character which is based on passion, which is based on wrong beliefs, wrong doctrines, then you will have a weak foundation. You will eventually get destroyed. We must do what Jesus says. Those who do what Jesus said will be those to withstand the storm, because their lives or their houses are built upon the rock, a solid foundation.